All right, guys. So we covered equations, right? Just the simple, basic, get it done equation. They give it to you, you solve it. Okay. And so that's something like this from your previous homework. Okay. Um, it's inevitable. Eventually, we have to do equations as they relate to word problems. Okay. So we're going to start very basic, not with the whole real world context, but more or less just how to put equations into words or vice versa, how to write equations from words. Okay. So that's going to be the topic for today. It's equations from words. Okay, equations from words. And so what I mean by that is that we're going to have something like this. Okay, and it's all through examples because it's really the only way to explain it. We're going to have something that says like the product of a number and 4 is, let's just go with 36. Okay, so very simple, right? The product of a number and 4 is 36. Well, the problem with these type of problems is that if you don't know the vocabulary, you can't do it. So if you don't know what a product is, there's no way to figure this out. Okay, there's nothing to guess at here. And your multiple choice is going to all be something equals 36, right? So which one is it, right? So your answer choices are going to look something like this, right? So x minus 4 equals 36. We're going to have 4x equals 36. We'll have x plus 4 equals 36. And then we'll have the last one, right? X divided by 4 is 36. So, right, they all have 4 and they all have 36 and they all have some unknown number. So unless you know what a product is, then you can't do this problem. Okay, they all look like they might work with what information is given you other than that. So when you see this, it's oftentimes going to be associated with the equal sign. So is, or some other scenario where the number has to be a certain thing. We're looking at that being the equality symbol. So what comes before it and what comes after are the question. So you have to know, what does product mean? And in this case, right, in every case, when you see the word product, we are going to associate that with multiplication. Okay, so multiplication is our product, and therefore our answer here would be B, 4x and 36, right? So 4 times some random number is 36. Well, we know that's 9, or at least we should. But, right, that's all going to be based on solving, which I'll ask you to do once we get a little better at this process. Okay, so product is multiplication. We're looking for sum, S-U-M, not S-O-M-E, sum being our addition keyword. We have difference, which is our subtraction keyword. And then lastly, we have quotient, which is our division keyword. Okay, so we want to associate those words as they're used with these different operations. Okay, so that we can actually write an equation from that, and then if asked to solve. Okay, so we can try this again, right? With another example, and we'll say the quotient of a number and 3 is 12. Okay, so the quotient of a number and 3 is 12. Okay, so basically what number divided by 3 would be 12 because, right, quotient is division. Well, what does that look like, right? We already know what the answer should be, right? It should be 36. So how do they write that? How's that going to look? So basically it's saying the quotient of a number and 3. That means the quotient, the number divided by 3. So when we write the equation, it's going to be that number, that unknown number divided by 3 equals 12. Okay, and then if asked to solve, we revert back to our inverse operations. Okay, so what is the opposite of division? Right, what's the inverse to that? And the answer is multiplication. So we would be multiplying both sides of this by 3. Right, so when you multiply something that's being divided by 3, it cancels that operation out. We end up with x. 12 times 3, of course, is 36. And then we have our answer. Okay, so just a couple more here just to get you kind of some more good examples to follow. And then I will kind of let you go on that note. And you can continue with the practice that I'm going to include for today. So we've got example 3. So the product of a number and -3 is increased by 8 is 20. Okay, so we should see kind of two things happening now. We've got the product of a number and -3 increased by 8 is 20. So the is again going to be kind of our giveaway that we have equals 20. We have to think about what happens on the other side. Well, we're taking some number and the product indicates multiplication. So we're going to take some number, multiply it by -3, and then increase that by 8. So we have to think then again about that word, increased. What operation is that going to indicate for us, right? When you increase something, you're going to add to it. So we're going to have -3 times some random number, and then we're going to add 8 on top of that. Okay, so now you can see how we formed an equation. So we've got this two-step equation to solve. And again, very easy. We should have lots of practice with this by now. So -3x equals 12. And we divide by -3, and you get x equals -4. There we go, right? There's our answer. All right, so not too hard. The hardest part about this is going to be just finding the keywords and then putting things in the correct order. So the last one I'm going to leave you with is this one, example 4, and it is a number subtracted from 16 is 3, -3, sure. Okay, so a number subtracted from 16 is -3. So far as we've written this out, we've been able to kind of go in order. That's only true as long as we're doing addition and multiplication. When we do subtraction and division, we have to kind of think of things backwards, right? So we are not taking this number, so you can't write it a number subtracted 16, right? That would be an incorrect order. Okay, so we're supposed to take this number and subtract from 16. So we're supposed to have this reversed. Okay, so this one is the incorrect order. We would want that to say 16 minus x equals -3. In which case now I can solve this. Now be careful. Okay, you want to get rid of this 16. So you have to think about, right? How do you get rid of a positive 16? What undoes that? Well, I would need to subtract 16, right? Because positive 16 minus 16 is where I get the cancellation or the 0. So I have -x equals negative 19. Always remember there's that imaginary 1, so it's really negative 1x. So to get rid of that negative 1, I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1, leaving me with just the x over here and negative 19 divided by 1, which is positive 19. Okay, so a little bit to go there. Make sure we kind of reverse our thought process when we see any kind of subtraction to make sure the order is correct. Again, I'm leaving you with the practice, so please, get some of those in. So if you have any questions, I can clarify that for you before we get to the next level, where we apply this to real world concepts. Okay, so as always, thanks for your time.